everybody, my name is Laszlo. Today, I'm going to be talking about 23 things you need to know before you go to prison. Here's a shout out to all my brothers and sisters doing hard time. Hang in there. This is the Laszlo Zone. Oh shit! So obviously the first thing you're going to be asked when you get into jail is, what did you bring in? What did you put up your ass? That's what everybody wants to know. They're sitting in jail for the longest time and they are hungry. Drugs, smokes, pretty much anything you can think of, whatever fits up there, that's your currency in jail. And you might be a king, sort of, just because of it. And I can tell you one thing, it'll help you out a lot, because right now, if you just got there, you're lower than the guards. You're fresh meat. Have fun. I don't know what genius thought it would be a good idea to beat up the biggest guy in jail, but that's the worst idea you could possibly come up with. What you gotta do is make friends, not enemies, when you first get there. Bottom line, don't mess with people that are already in there. What if you just beat up the nicest guy in jail? That's a bad idea. Everybody in there is so bored, they're looking for a fight. If you wait long enough, there will be a fight. Don't you worry. Depending on your charges, that might be your fight. Next question everyone's gonna ask you when you get in there is, what are you in there for? And you better be honest, because we'll figure it out. And the bottom line, we'll find out. So don't lie. And you better not be a cop, because we'll find out also. Bad idea. Seriously. Don't be a cop and go to jail. The other thing, if you're being charged as a Skinner or sexual assault, you better be in protective custody, because you're probably not going to get out very healthy. All jails are run by politics, my friend. Who has the most power? The power goes as follows. Mob leaders, cop killers, gang members, hard-timers, and then cleaners, and then guards, and then you're at the bottom, being fresh meat, because you're almost next to protected custody. Oh yeah, and sex offenders, those are the worst.
This is outrageous. Where are the armed men who come in to take the protesters away? Where are they? This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Boracua. You shout like that, they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing. Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists. You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses, you right to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail. Undercook, overcook. You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up, believe it or not, jail, right away. We have the best patients in the world because of jail.
Hey, that's the guy! That's the guy that stole my sister's bike! Dude, your sister can't afford a bike. So you're gonna wanna have money in your wallet, or on a credit card, or on a debit card, because that's your currency, is to get canteen. When you get there, all you'll get is one tiny little single serving soap, and one tiny little single serving toothpaste, and one tiny little single serving shampoo. And that's not gonna last you very long, so you're gonna wanna have some money. People can put money into your canteen from the outside. You can make sketches, you could make necklaces, or maybe some bracelets, whatever helps you out if you're that broke.
When are you gonna get out of here?
In a while. I gotta get back.
I love you, Mama!
I love you too, baby!
Let's talk about some jail slang that you're going to want to know. A squid. A squid is a spineless pussy or a bitch. A goof, which is probably the worst thing you can be called, is a sex offender or a molester. A skinner is a rapist. PC is protective custody. If they're talking about teeth, they're talking about bullets. Your strap is your gun. A bug is a guy that's on the bug unit or the mentally ill unit, or somebody who's just completely untrustworthy and useless. That's a bug. A kite is a letter that is used between cells or units. To hoop something, obviously, is to stick it up your butt. If you're doing a bit, like a jail bit, you're doing a certain amount of time in jail, like a penitentiary. It's your jail term, is you do a whole bit. A rat, obviously, is a snitch. Beef, if you have beef, that's your criminal charges. Brew is the alcohol that we can make. Your blues are your jumpsuits or your overalls. If you're dealing with a shiv, you're dealing with a shank or a knife. If you want to live, get a shiv. If a guy in the cell tells you to keep 6, watch his back, watch the window, whatever they're doing in the cell.
So the total bond would be $2,500, broken down $1,000 resisting without violence, $1,000 for the DUI, and $500 for the expired driver's license. Is there anything else before me involving Mr. Bieber?
No, Your Honor, but thank you very much for hearing us right away, and we appreciate Your Honor's courtesy.
Definitely one thing you don't want to do in jail is whistle. Unless you enjoy punches in the face occasionally, that's totally up to you. Some guys are doing really hard time, and whistling is really just going to piss them off. You can't whistle because inmates back in the day when they were going off the death penalty would whistle because they weren't afraid of death. Also, whistling is for the free and the birds. But if you're in jail, you shouldn't whistle. In Canada, Prisoner Rights Day was on August 21st, so if you're doing time, all the prisoners are not supposed to eat anything all day. And if you do get found eating something, you will probably just get a fist sandwich. Everything in jail can be used as a weapon. Even a toothbrush can be filed down and turned into a weapon. The whole unit will be put into lockdown if you don't give back your razor. The other rule is don't write on the wall, it's a curse, unless you want to come back and clean it off. Never trust the guards or the cops. They're recording everything you're doing. You have no freedom in there. Never tell the cops anything. They're going to use everything against you. Everything. So, they even warn you in your Miranda rights. Everything you say will be used against you in the court of law. And if they ask you for a lawyer, you say, yes, I want a lawyer. Have you ever been pepper sprayed before?
Sit down.
Yes, Sergeant. If you put my hands behind my back, that's causing discomfort, which is cruel and unusual punishment. It's cruel and unusual punishment for you to strap my hands behind my back in a position where I can't move.
They'll be released and put in the arms of the chair here just a second.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we, sir? Look what you do to us.
All right, lean forward.
Do you white people feel good doing this for me? Yeah, you do, right?
Guys, be careful with those arms.
You have to. Do it in my hands!
Got it.
Get the off me!
That's enough! Stop resisting! That's enough! Stop resisting! Stay in your position right there.
You good?
Watch the hand, watch the hand. Grab his hand.
Got this side?
Watch that arm.
Got him. You got it.
I can't breathe! Can't breathe! Can't breathe! Can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! Help me, please!
Hang on.
Oh, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Help me, please.
Here, strap me.
I can't breathe. Help me, please.
Let's get the shoulder straps on.
McGill.
I can't breathe.
Don't you even think about it, man.
I just want to breathe.
Yeah, do not even.
Get the shoulder straps on, thank you.
Bad move. Here, let me get this side. What's your arm, Sarge?
Feet in. Make sure we're cinched in. Double check everything, guys. Get him in the room.
Hang on.
I just want to breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Help me, please.
Yep.
Help me, I can't breathe.
Thank you. Whoa.
Please, somebody help me. Please, somebody help me. I can't breathe. Please.
Everybody okay?
They took all the masks.
That's fine. I'm not worried about it.
No,
We got them in our room.
he was asking about like masks.
Yeah.
You okay? What name?
Please, somebody.
He doesn't. Nah, he doesn't react well to pepper spray. I think he's allergic.
Okay, you're all.
Yeah.
You're next. You keep it up. You are next.
Yeah, I won't be next.
Hey, Sarge. I guess I'll just hang. Keep recording until medical comes. Did anybody call the medic?
You might be in a cell where there's a fight breaking out, and you might get pepper sprayed as well. It does not feel good. It is pepper in the face. It's exactly what it sounds like. And the whole theory of milk, that doesn't help. Milk will not help you at all. No, don't put milk in your face. There was a guy in jail named Kyle Butters, and he got in a fight over a pillow with a gang member. So 3 guys come back to the cell saying, "You're gonna die, both of you." So I decided it would be funny, because his name is Butters, that he should just get butt naked and cover himself in butter. So that's exactly what he did. He covered himself in butter, completely naked. There's gang members coming to beat him up, and they were completely surprised. They couldn't really get a good grip on him. So the guards came in and pepper sprayed him, and also the other gang members, and they had to decontaminate the whole cell, and everything had to be taken out because he couldn't breathe. I got the idea for Butters from Charles Bronson, one of the most feared criminals in British prisons. Killed 30, 40 guards. Many people died. So if you get in a fight and you get put in the hole, you get put into solitary confinement pretty much, where you get nothing. And you're given an orange jumpsuit. So if you got to go to court and you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, the judge isn't going to like that very much, because obviously you're not cooperating very well. And you're not wearing a blue jumpsuit anymore. Now you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, so it doesn't look good. So try not to do that. So if you're put into dry cell and you're suspected of having drugs somewhere in your anal cavity, they will put you in a cell where you will be monitored for 5 days until you poop. And I've seen baby powder containers just packed full of cocaine. They don't even have baby powder containers anymore. If you're ever told in jail bad action, it's because you don't follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules too many times, you'll probably get a beating, because you're not cooperating with the rest of the inmates, and they're not going to be very happy about that. So these rules could save your life in some states. Just letting you know.
Hello, guard.
It's the new guy, huh?
Yeah.
Can you check on him?
All right. Hello. Got a problem here?
Yeah, can you come here and look at this thing? There's a draft, and there seems to be noises coming from the ventilation room, and it's cold in here. I mean, it shouldn't be like that, right?
What the hell?
Whoa! What a hole! Hey, have you seen this? Look! You never noticed? Well, you've been lying here for 4 years. Oh, you poor thing.
So depending on your charges, you will probably be put into a gang unit, depending on how many tattoos you have on your face or your body, they will just judge you and put you into the gang unit because of your record or because of your personality, which is very biased, but they don't care, they're the guards. So, just be prepared to know that you might have to pick a side. If you're not part of a gang and you're on the gang unit, you need to know which side you're on and which gang. The best thing I can tell you is never check off a unit, because as soon as you check off the unit, there's another unit waiting for you, and those guys are communicating to the other guys on the other unit, so you'll just be checking yourself into a nice fight on the other side. So bottom line is you should just put up with what you can deal with on that one unit, because if you're a check off, it's called a kite. That's how we communicate to other units.
You know, I'm locked up in the belly of the beast right now. They don't know I got my phone. Doing documentaries. I'm in the belly of the beast, the belly of the beast. I'm in jail. I'm in jail. They don't know I got my phone. You don't believe me? Look. There go the doors. There go the cops. That's my man, though. That's my man. That's my man. That's my man. Yeah, you know I gotta go do a week bid. Just a little county bid, you know what I mean? Just drip money back.
When you go to jail, you need to know that all your privacy is gone. You have 24-hour surveillance. You have 24-hour recordings on your phone calls. Every hallway and every unit is recorded. There's monitors in the cell.
They had inmate manufactured alcohol, and they had it stored in those milk cartons right there. So they dumped them right away into the toilet in an effort to flush them, but the water was already off and they were unable to do that.
Officer Jim Dejanay is known for his aggressive stance on alcohol manufacturing.
I'm noted for enforcing a zero tolerance for any kind of substance abuse, and that includes alcohol possession.
Zero tolerance.
If you have enough time and fruit, you can make alcohol. It's called brew. It's probably on every unit. You can pay for alcohol with your noodles and currency, or whatever you have, even smokes. If you have drug charges, you could probably apply for what's called drug court. So you would bypass the legal system. You probably would be put into a halfway house if you're not interested in going to jail or the pen. Drug court would help you out. You'd be able to go into rehab or some kind of system or some kind of program that would help you out instead of going to normal prison or a penitentiary based on your charges if they are drug related and if you are an addict of some sort. I'm going to tell you that I have seen 2 suicides and 2 murders and 3 really bad beatings. One guy tried to hang himself with his own door with a blanket. One guy got stabbed so many times that I could smell the blood coming from his cell. I'm not trying to scare you, but in some states, probably. I'll warn you that if you're pregnant and you're going to jail, they are going to get you to give birth in jail, and they're going to take your baby away, which will be traumatizing because you'll only have your baby for 20 minutes, and then it will be fostered off to a foster care, and you might never see your baby again, depending on what state you're in.
Surveillance video from inside a Michigan jail shows an inmate giving birth on the floor of her cell after she claims her requests to go to the hospital were ignored.
Just didn't have to happen. That's really what blows my mind.
Jessica Preston says she was arrested for driving with a suspended license and then couldn't make the $10,000 cash bond to get released. She was 8 months pregnant at the time and says the staff at the Macomb County Jail didn't believe her when she told them she was in labor.
They told me to knock my crap off, stop lying to them. They could put another charge on me if I kept lying to them.
She says she was taken to the infirmary and returned to her cell twice, but then she started bleeding. She claims she was told it was too late for them to take her to the hospital by then, and the staff told her to start pushing.
I was scared. I was terrified. I was so worried for both of us that either one of us could catch something and, that would be life-threatening.
She also says she had to have a C-section during her last pregnancy because of complications, which added to her fear. Baby Elijah was born in jail weighing less than 5 pounds.
My son was born in a jail cell and then got wrapped up with a dirty sheet off the floor. We're all human beings. We need to be treated as such.
The system is corrupt, evil, and the biggest money-making business I've ever seen, and it needs to be taken down. It needs to be fixed, and something needs to happen, because who's the real criminal? People making money off the criminals, or the criminals doing the crimes? Because if you can do the math and understand that at least every criminal is paying at least $1,000, do the math, we're looking at $1 billion industry, which is insane, because you are basically capitalizing on criminal activity, which isn't helping anybody. Nobody's being helped by sitting in jail and rotting with other people and talking about other crimes that they want to commit. That doesn't help anybody. The system is flawed, corrupted, and evil, and it is masterminded by some of the most corrupt police I've ever seen in my life.
So here's a crazy thing. Almost everyone I know agrees that the government of the United States, the government of the most powerful nation on the face of the earth, is completely broken. And for most of us, it's really obvious why. Lobbyists write our laws, politicians are bought, and corruption is infecting every issue that's close to our hearts. But what's even crazier is that we've all convinced ourselves that there's nothing we can do about it. And that is one of the biggest and most dangerous lies in American politics. The problem isn't that corrupt politicians are breaking the law. The problem is that we don't even have laws for them to break. Right now, corruption is legal in America, and that is something we can fix. Here's exactly how we do it. Right now, it's perfectly legal for special interests to hand huge checks to the members of Congress who regulate them. It's perfectly legal for those same members of Congress to pass laws to help out lobbyists who offer them a cushy job when they leave office. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. From $1 million bundlers to the threat of a super PAC smear campaign, there are literally dozens of perfectly legal ways to buy a public official. But that makes the solution pretty obvious. Make corruption illegal. All of it. And that is where the American Anti-Corruption Act comes in. It introduces a strict set of ethical standards, so if you're an elected official on, say, the Senate Banking Committee, you can't take donations from banking lobbyists. It mandates full transparency, so the American people know exactly who's trying to buy our elected officials. It changes how elections are funded, so clean candidates can win without selling out to special interests. And it does all of this while protecting the people's right to free speech. That's because the act was written by top constitutional scholars, conservative and liberal alike, to stand up to the toughest scrutiny. You can read the full text of the act at anticorruptionact.org. And speaking of the Constitution, let's talk about a little Supreme Court ruling called Citizens United. Here's the thing. While a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United would help clamp down on those shady groups with names like Americans for Freedom and Jobs and More Freedom, it wouldn't fix any of the problems we talked about before. You could pass that amendment tomorrow and the bribery, the extortion, the conflicts of interest, all of it would still be legal. But in a weird way, that's actually good news, because it means we can solve a huge part of this problem with a plain old law. The question is, how do we get it passed? I mean, asking Congress to do it is like asking a fox to put a lock on the henhouse. The greasy, dirty, disgusting fox, and also the fox is a congressman and not a fox at all. Look, my point is, we can go around Congress using a little something called the ballot initiative process. It lets citizens pass laws ourselves, no politicians required. All we have to do is gather enough signatures, put anti-corruption acts up to a simple public vote, and we can start fixing the corrupt system right at home. Here's our plan, in 5 steps. First, we'll need a law to pass. One that, actually fixes things. Okay, Anti-Corruption Act. Check. Next, we need to bring conservatives and progressives together and get organized. It's the only way to build enough power to defeat the politically entrenched and well-funded opposition. We're in good shape there, though, because everyone already agrees we need to fix our corrupt system. In fact, local Tea Partiers and progressive activists actually teamed up to pass America's first Anti-Corruption Act in 2014. And the movement has racked up even more victories since. There are more than 22,000 cities in America where we can use the ballot initiative process to pass locally tailored anti-corruption acts. And this really matters. We're protecting our communities from corruption, so our schools, hospitals, local resources, and jobs are no longer under the constant threat of getting sold out to special interests. Plus, citywide initiatives and resolutions build momentum for the most powerful way we can go around Congress: passing anti-corruption acts in states. State acts not only clean up statewide corruption, they change how elections are funded so clean candidates can win office without selling out to special interests. That goes for federal candidates from that state too. Once we pass these state laws, we can send a new wave of representatives and senators to Washington. State by state, we can fill Congress with leaders who got elected under the rules of our new anti-corruption acts, replacing entrenched politicians with new blood. See how this works? By taking the fight to the states, we can fix Congress from the outside. And when these new representatives get to Congress, free from dependence on special interests, they'll be free to vote for and pass the American Anti-Corruption Act at the federal level, to fix this problem for good. So, that's the plan, and 500,000 Represent Us members couldn't agree more. We're bringing conservatives and progressives together to pass anti-corruption acts across America and put power back in the hands of the people, where it belongs. We need millions more people to join, and that includes you. Start by clicking here and we'll tell you exactly how you can help.
The best thing I can say is be cool in jail, be honest, make as many friends as you can, and it will make your time go a lot faster if you're not stressing out about what's happening in jail. That's the best thing I can say. And don't get institutional charges, which is possible. You can be charged in jail and spend more time in jail than you were supposed to. So if you like my video, please subscribe. I'm going to be making lots more videos. I have t-shirts coming. You can hit me up in the link below in my email if you were interested in a t-shirt. I can send them to you. And I'm building a website. So, peace out. I am Laszlo, and that was the Laszlo Zone.